You weren't ready. You
I'm
weren't
ready.
ready.
I was
You
ready.
weren't.
It was a short. I was not ready for 20 second on the
No,
intro. So what is
you
going
weren't
on,
watching. It was
everyone?
a totally new one. Didn't even see it.
No, I missed the entire thing. I was waiting for the 1 minute to be up. I was waiting for a conversation to
Yeah,
start,
yeah, nothing,
and
nothing.
nothing. I did not see that at all. So welcome to another Daily Hacked. Anybody out there that is watching, you probably saw that intro before I did. So tell me in the
Considering you
comments
still haven't seen it and
how
we're in the show.
how was it? Tell me in the comments how was it? Okay, so first thing we want to talk about on this glorious Thursday afternoon, uh, you know, time management is on our minds. Now, we are pretty good about filling out our schedule, filling out our calendars, but then we're not always the best at estimating how long things take. Because we were on a call that was supposed to end at 9, or no, it was supposed to end at 10 Mountain to allow us to do our 10 for 10. And nope, it lasted until, what do you think, 11? Only an hour late.
11. Yeah, it was super late. So one, we have to block the time. So we've talked about calendaring and blocking time and making sure you're protecting your time, and we have to protect the time for the daily hack for sure, because we said and committed at 10:10 for 10 minutes. That's what we're doing.
Yes. So we're going to try again tomorrow. 10 for 10. All right. So, but let's look at that. Like, what is it about? Like, it's one thing to put things on a schedule, but what is it about? Sometimes we underestimate how long a project will take, or we allow people that we're on a call with to go long. Right. Right.
Mhm.
We allow it to go longer than it should, and so like that's kind of where we lose our protection. Right. We had a 30-minute coaching call today that went 90, and we allowed that to happen, and some good things came from it, but we allowed it. Like, what are your thoughts on that overall?
Well, I think sometimes allowing it is important, because if you're in a good conversation and if you're in a good flow of their like creativity, you don't want to cut that off. So sometimes if somebody's kind of stuck on that, or they're trying to get something, this person was trying to get their podcast launched, and we were able to just knock out a couple things that she was struggling with. So one, the client benefited from that tremendously, because she now walked away thinking, oh my gosh, I got that off my plate. I don't have to worry about it. So the one thing we say is, we're going to impact the impactors. We're going to take away excuses. So that's what we did for her. We took away excuses. So it was important to let it breathe a little bit. However, if there wasn't a reason behind it and we just allowed it to allow it, that would have been bad.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, but even so, like, there are things that get on our calendar, but then we struggle sometimes to move because we didn't. It takes longer. Like editing a podcast, right? One time a 30-minute podcast may take 30 minutes. Another time it may take 2 hours, right? Because of the context of the show and the complexity of what goes on.
Right.
And so how do you calendar that sometimes when there's an unpredictability about certain things on the fulfillment side, let's say?
You have to have blank spots in your calendar. You have to. And I will tell you, that was a lesson I learned a long time ago, where I was like, oh, there's a blank spot. I can fill it. Just because you have a blank spot doesn't mean it should be full. So I'm going to say that again. Just because there's open space in the calendar doesn't mean you should fill it. That's called mind reset space. That's just in case space. That's, didn't finish this space. Emergency showed up space. Family needs you space. There's other spaces that can take that up that you cannot plan for. You cannot plan for everything. So understand, you have to be able to be flexible, right?
Yeah. Flexibility is key. But I have another devil's advocate response though.
Okay.
you and I live off of our calendar. We easily give our Calendly to people based on certain topics and subjects, and we have
Yep.
like 7 or 8 different reasons for somebody to get on a Calendly with different titles and different lengths from a 15-minute to a 2-hour block.
Right.
So how do you adjust when you think you've managed to get your blank space,
You plan for those
but then 3 people fill those blank spaces up?
because, as you know, on our calendar, we have free spaces that are blocked off free for people to then schedule things in. So the only time these people on these calendar links can block off our calendar is, let's just say, for example, from 2 to 3 on a Monday. If you look at my calendar, it's color coded, but it says free. Okay. It says business intensives. Let's just use that for an example. I know the only time I'm going to have a business intensive conversation is between 2 and 3 or 4 and 5, whatever those time frames are, on Monday. Okay. So I know, looking at my calendar, not to schedule anything during those times, but all my Calendly links for that particular thing only points to that one. And then the other ones, the other Calendly links can't even schedule in that time frame because it's protected for those clients. Now, if no one schedules a BI, that's just other open space time. But if you look at the calendar, like you and I live on the calendar, it looks like there's something going on. So if that's just a time gift back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so to anybody listening and watching, pro tip, add something in your calendar to make sure you're aware that something could go there, but leave it as free versus when the normal thing you put on a calendar is always says busy, right? Leave it as free, and that will allow somebody to get on your calendar if necessary. But it keeps it so you know that somebody can get on your calendar. So that is definitely, we use that, but we even use that for certain work blocks, right? Like when we want to put our heads to the grindstone, our phones
those are not free.
side, those are not free.
Those are not free.
But that's a we don't want to talk to a single soul for 3 hours on a Wednesday typically, right? Like we just want to work and everything. Like that's another pro tip, right? Like that one is busy. That is a work block, and that is get shit done. Let's go, right?
Yep.
So another question then. We live off the calendar, and how would you suggest for those folks that work with multiple people or have a business partner, or how would you suggest they make sure that all the calendars stay succinct as it should?
Shared calendar.
How does one share a calendar?
It's very easy. So we use Google, right? So I have my own personal calendar. I have my Rachel and Ron calendar, and then I have my Corey and Ron calendar. And you have your own calendar, right? So there's our Calendly will look at all of those calendars. If there's something going on my personal one, it can't be blocked. It can't be loaded, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at your calendar, if you're looking at the shared calendar, all of our stuff from Calendly gets published to the shared calendar because it's something you and I are both working on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's out of any of our tips that we've given on this aspect of calendaring, that is by far the one that helps me the most, right? Yeah. I don't have to guess what you're doing in a day. You don't have to guess what I'm doing in a day. We don't have to guess when we have joint calls, right? Like most of the time we don't even have to send a calendar invite because it goes to both the shared calendar that we use first and foremost for any of our business needs. So that has been, to me, a game changer. And when did we implement that? Like, I don't know, like 7-8 months ago with the shared?
Yeah. I think once, I think it was right around 8 months now.
So, all right. Any other final thoughts you want to give for calendaring, for scheduling, and the time management aspect of this.
Block things off. Okay. And just if you're just blocking off space where people can, like our interview section, we have an interview block on 2 days a week because it's the only time we do interviews. And it's marked free. So we know not to schedule anything on it. And then the interview will overwrite that free section if it's booked. If it's not booked, it's just an hour back.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. But it is always booked. So anybody coming on our podcast, you
got a little time.
You got a book. Like I know March is full, but we have a plenty of open space in April for anybody out there that wants to come on. Let us know. We'll have a conversation and make sure it's a good fit. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining another Daily Hack. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow with 10-10 at 10.
Yep, guys. Enjoy and check out our Facebook group, facebookgroups.com/profits with.